Peace, family. So I'm back with another one. Today what I want to do is I want to talk to my chosen ones about how they want to permanently occupy space in your inner space. They want to take up a room. They want to take up a corner. They want to take up a cubby. They want to take over that floor spot that nobody's over there occupying. A lot of these people out here using these witchy playbooks understand that the times have been changing, that they aren't able to manipulate the exact same way that they were able to before. And a lot of people kind of have to use that ghosting technique, you know what I mean, to kind of validate the experience that they went through, so they know that, okay, this was on this other person's half. This didn't have anything to do with me, why somebody just disappeared and quote unquote let the new age tell it they have an avoidant attachment style. You know, I don't believe in any of that. All these new names and titles they coming up with for us to be more comfortable with these demons and witches out here. They process, we process. They may use the flip side of the process, but they still process. That's why they able to do the things that they do. That's why we don't, for the ones that are unaware, they are surprised when they get hit with some of these tactics. But some of us that's already been in this space, we already know what time it is. We just, soon as they do it, we be like, aha, I knew that was you, you know? And then we carry it accordingly to that, you know, whether we decide to keep giving them chances or opportunities or not, or to see if they want to, you know, convert over to the creators team, you know what I mean? Like, they ain't gonna get no love and great vibes over there doing what they doing. But they want to occupy this right here. This is why they maneuver and do so much. So you gotta remember, even if they cannot take you over in the physical, this 3D realm, they are still working to occupy space in there. If they can get in there and set up shop, that means that even when you're not around them, you'll still be processing, you'll still be thinking about them. They'll still be running and skipping to my loo in your spiritual realm, you know? I recently was processing this, which I'm pretty good at disconnecting, you know? But I understand, like, when you disconnect things, it takes a little bit in order to get all that extra access residue out the way, you know? And for me, when I realized people start, like, we call it playing games. That's the short form of what we call it, playing games. It's really not a game because it's your life at stake, you know what I mean? But I know that's just the language we use. But I always tell people that come in my life or around my space, like, my life ain't no game. I don't play no games with my life. I play games in real life. That's different, you know? I'll get on the PlayStation, I'll go out here and run around, do some stuff with my mini. I'll do some playing, but I'm not gonna play about my life. So I'm always mindful of those words as well too. So recently I had one of those situations where somebody was presenting themselves one way, and it was still fairly new, but as they doing it, it's weird because it's like literally like the movie Get Out. Like, I'm sitting here watching this person like play and do these certain things which I'm already aware of. And then it's like if my daughters start like trying to be sneaky and like grab something out the kitchen or something, which I don't care if she do, I'm just using it as an example. She don't have to ask me for everything in the house. We are not no dictatorship. I'm a leader, not a dictator. And she started doing that little thing where I cannot answer certain questions, you know, no direct questions, like, hey, what your schedule look like this week? I don't know yet, I haven't looked at my schedule. You've been working at your job for 2-3 years, you know your schedule, you know, just little things in that department. So since this was like one of the last most recent ones, I just kind of was processing, like, it was cool, it wasn't a big deal. I'm a teacher. So in order for me to, you know, be able to give more insight, I have to put myself in certain places and situations so that way I can learn more. I'm not going to learn the way I want to learn if I'm just sitting around fiddling my thumb. So for me, I'm going to figure out a way to create a learning experience or take some lessons learned out of whatever I'm experiencing at the time. And the person magic didn't work. I just kept thinking, damn, like, they don't really understand. Like, I done faced a lot of demons. That's all I kept thinking when they was trying their tricks. I kept thinking, damn, like, they really just look at me like this piece of meat right here. Like, clearly my words that I'm using to communicate with you is showing you that I operate differently. You know, my vocabulary can be different. I'm very good at reading the energy, communicating with the being within. So as they was doing these things, and when we stopped talking in the process, because I had to stop being responsive, I had to start doing like the ignore thing, and then it went over to the removal, and then it went to a block, but it was step by step, you know. But before I had got to the blockage, I just remember, like, they really up here trying to like sit in my inner space, because for us, we be wanting answers to what's happening, even though some of us already know. When we don't get answers, we be trying to figure out conclusions. For me, once I had to deal with my demonic BM that I signed up for, I realized that I had to create conclusions. And I figured that out just researching and learning, right? And then for two, I don't like keeping doors ajar or cracked. Like, ain't no, I'ma play this little game right here, be ghost, gone, come back like 2, 3, 6 months, 7 months later. Like, if you don't vibe with me now, you ain't gonna vibe with me later. That's just how I am. Ain't no, cause I ain't gonna trust your spirit already. I don't trust your vibration and energy. So for me, if I don't have to sit around with my guard up as high 24/7, I don't want to. Like, it's kind of like the Statue of Liberty. Like, when they come around, you just like this the whole time, literally. But if they not around, you may have it, but at least you can rest it. You know, you can put your elbow down a little bit. You can put your weapon on your lap. Your defense is down, you know what I mean? But once you already know what time it is, you already know that they working to take over this inner space. And this is a lot of the reasons why they don't give conclusions, why they kind of just dip off, because they understand how we operate as humans too. You don't just become spiritually connected, have these spiritual ties with certain beings and people, and expect you to just be able to break it off like that. They avoid their feelings, so it's not like they don't feel. They replace them with the ideology that they have to keep in repetition to move it to the side. It's like when we don't care about something, you gotta think about it. When you don't care about something and you know that you're highly empathetic, not saying they are, but I'm just speaking for us, like when you know you're empathetic, that it still crosses your space. It's a daily, minute, hour, second process that you gotta constantly keep. If when they cross your space, oh, wonder what that person doing. Oh yeah, that was a good time. Or just whatever thoughts are floating around in your spiritual realm, you have to work really hard at minimizing your caring and blocking it out. You at work trying to do some stuff, they floating across your space. Now you done got a little bit frustrated, you may want to reach out, you know. Or the opposite, you know. Let's say you at the store somewhere, you see something that reminds you of them, and now all of a sudden they're back in here and back in here. That's what they were trying to do all along. When they are able to implant themselves in your inner space, even if you're not around them or talking to them, engaging with them, they understand that they was implanting themselves inside of there. That's why we have to do a better job at making sure we are aware of how we communicating with them and how much access we allow them to have to us. We shouldn't be having them on every single social media. You know, you don't have the same people following you on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat, you know, Rumble, all these other things. You know what I mean? Especially if they like, if you know what time they on, because most of them, it's very obvious. That's why they work so hard to create these memories. They understand the same way we do. We just, you know, we have more of a genuine connection with our memories. We aren't doing it to say, hey, I'm about to go over there, I'm gonna take them to the beach, create this really good memory, and then I'm gonna embed it in there, and then I'm gonna remove myself and see how they feel about it. That gives me more power and control. That's not how we process. One thing about us over on our side, we don't have a problem sharing the power. We don't. A lot of people be over there like, oh, don't do this to the dark or the demon. They, you give them more energy and power. It's like, so what? They get a little bit of power. For me, I've been in this space for a while, so most of them are like really lower level, so it's easy to operate around their space. Now, before, when I was pushing through, I would be a little bit more mindful just because it was like newer to the space. But being in this space for a while now, and even when I was young, I didn't have a problem sharing the power. Like, it's not that big of a deal for me, especially if we all connected and we all one. But when we are allowing them to take over this and here and this and here, it's a distraction. It keeps you from being able to focus the way you really want to focus, because now you done had to fight this being in your inner space about 30, 40 times throughout the day. You know what I mean? Because it can come and go real fast, and some people could take really long breaks. So I thought about them as soon as I got up, and then, they didn't cross my space again until 5 o'clock. Whenever you got off work or had a settling moment or something of that nature. But long as they could occupy a room inside of your spiritual house, they always gonna have access to you. They always gonna have access to you. It doesn't matter if you're seeing them in the physical realm or if you're not seeing them in the physical realm. And for a lot of us, we understand that just due to our parents and our siblings. You know what I mean? We grew up with them, so it don't matter how great they was or how witchy they were, they're embedded into our houses, our spiritual houses. And you already know to get that out of there, that takes a lot of work and a lot of time, which most of it, that's why you have to come to wits with it and just be like, all right, I understand, like, this is what was happening over there. That's them. They was using a different playbook. But the ones who we are embedded with, you know how the cows get on their ears or their tails or something, to show ownership? Those ones are kind of already embedded in us. But it makes it easier and soothing once you understand and you can start putting things in categories. If you got your spiritual house organized, then if somebody come in there and start bumping stuff around, you can push them out. And if it's hard to push them out, you know how to get your stuff up and put it back where it needs to be organized at. We aren't chaotic in the inside, so that's why they have to work extremely hard to embed themselves. When your living room is clean and somebody sits anywhere on that side of the floor, on that side of the couch, try to squeeze behind the TV, they're visible. You still gonna, it's too clean in there for them to hide anywhere. So when we're that clean spiritually, not saying like we're walking a perfect life, I'm talking about your house being clean, that's it. They have to put extra emphasis on their demonic power, that they could just sit in your spiritual house and kick their feet up on your couch. And we know it's not the real power they're getting from the Creator, because that's why it always have to be done in a sneaky manner. So, and that's for the ones who are weaker. They will just set up right in your living room. Where you live at, that will be their room, And for the rest of us who've been at this battle for a while, you realize they try to sneak off into like your closet behind the clothes. Like if you got a garage, like they sneaking around to all these spaces. And you don't even realize it till spiritually you go to do one thing. You're like, oh shit. Here they go crossing your space. And now you back through that process again of just trying to get them out of your spiritual house. That's why they always put emphasis on these spiritual ties and connections. You got to understand the rituals that's going on behind sex, us using our sacral chakra. It's a lot of energy exchanging. They're processing us on the inside too. They know how good we was as far as charging them up. If they came to our gas station to charge up, they knew that they wasn't going to have any weird chemicals like coming through the gas pump into their car. They knew they was getting that grade A quality. It's a lot of things. And because they can't just pull up to the pump anytime they want to, we got to put a limit on them. They want to try to take over the gas station. Like Pinky and the Brain. What we going to do today, Pinky? Try to take over the world. They trying to take over our inner space. They don't always have to do it in a violent way. They don't always have to do it in a nasty way. Sometimes they just try to embed memories with you. They'll do certain things to, we attach feelings and emotions to what we experience. So depending on what you experience, if it's really good, it's gonna set in here and in here. If it has a really negative connotation, it's gonna set in here and in here. They understand these things too. So they know that they don't always have to do something disgusting. They could take you on a really good trip, or y'all could do something really awesome, and then they just dip out and ghost, or just stop communicating, slow down communicating. There's a lot of things that they do, which is all tactics to embed themselves in as many people spiritual homes as they possibly can. Why do you think most of the people who are on that time, they usually got like some kind of psycho craziness going on around them? And if you young going through the process, they'll have you going psycho crazy, because if you don't know what's going on, you're going to be thrown into a loop, and you might start blaming yourself and wondering, oh, why does being doing this and doing that? And you trying to communicate with them, you reaching out to them, they being unresponsive. Now they got you going through psycho mode. You want to pull up to their job, pull up to their house, because you want answers. You want answers. You feel like you deserve answers. You do. You just have to create the conclusion yourself. You already got the answers. That's why we're chasing. What happens is we want to hear it out of their mouth. We want to hear it out of their mouth, because we solid. We feel like, hey, like, if I don't like you, I'll let you know I don't like you, or you got to get away from me. I may not say, hey, I don't fuck with you. I may just say, I ain't rocking with them vibes right now. It's different ways that we use our language to get the point across. But don't allow them to invade your spiritual space. That's why it's important for us to call certain actions and behaviors out as they're happening. You let something slide too many times, now you're going to start feeling more insecure, because you can be like, damn, like, not being cocky or arrogant, but you'll be seeing like, damn, I was lowering my value a little bit to communicate and engage with them. And it's like they done some witchy shit, so now you feeling insecure, you feeling stupid, you got all these different weird emotions. Now you like, I don't even know why I did that. Yeah, we know why we do certain things. One, because we programmed, and a lot of us have a hard time connecting genuine connections because of our renters, our parents. So, and you already know, most of our parents ain't getting to no space to where they go like, you know what? I apologize that I didn't do better when I was younger. I wasn't protecting you spiritually, physically, I just made sure that I only provided a roof, clothes, and food. I had to hear that shit my whole life growing up. I just gotta provide, blah, blah, blah. When you turn 18, you getting out. When you turn 18, you getting out. And I'm just like, damn. These demons really thought it was okay to tell you consistently that you gotta get out when you turn a certain number. It's like, damn, what if you ain't prepared when you hit that certain number? Like, they already wasn't informing you with the knowledge and things that you need to know to prepare you for this demonic world. It's crazy. Because I could never send my mini out in this mess. I couldn't do it. That's why I make the sacrifices that I do now, to make sure that she is more aware. Because she's not a male. She's not going to be physically stronger than me. But she can be spiritually stronger and more knowledgeable than me. Because she'll have more time in the space if I'm already putting this works into her, and I'm already there with her, and we already going over these practices and stuff. It's so weird that I know I got my witch over there signed up, but I was just thinking while I was talking about this, like, it's a daddy-daughter dance next week, and me and my daughter hadn't been to one in 2 years. We didn't go last year. We went to the 1 year before. She was really excited about it. We got court papers in place and stuff, so she had to call me. So we talked yesterday for a second, and it was only for a quick second, because the monitoring spirit is not going to allow but so much communication, even though it's through the courts, you know what I mean? But they always figure out different ways to kind of wiggle around and still be disgusting beings, And I was telling my mini, we was just talking because I could see her energy was a little low. She be in a weird space when she be over there, because it's like she's mixed. So she wants to be more connected to her brown side. She made a statement and asked me, I told her some of my buddies was going to be there. She was going to get to meet some of their daughters. One of them she already knew. And she was like, Daddy, are they going to be brown? I said, yeah. And I could hear her demonic ass mom in the background. That doesn't matter. That doesn't matter. I'm like, yeah, it does. As soon as she said, that doesn't matter. To me, I understand, like, once you get to a certain level, it doesn't matter. But in most of these towns, especially where I'm at, KKK City, it's predominantly white. Not gonna have my daughter growing up being insecure of who she is because she's surrounded by a different culture. That's no different if it was one white person around an Asian culture. You wanna let them know who they are and that, you know, this just a different culture right here. That's it, but you still can learn both or take on the one that you want to predominantly resonate with. So, but the process, and it was like, I could tell that she was just trying to take over some pieces in my inner space, because this motherfucker is retarded. When I say retarded, oh my God. She snatched the phone from my daughter and hung it up. And I just kept thinking to myself, my daughter be 9 this year. You only got about a couple more years before she's willingly able to get out your house. Like, you are so disgusting and demonic that you just like, whatever you could do to try to hurt me or embed like some kind of weird energies inside my inner space to get me riled up, because you know I'm protective over mine. I just don't rile up anymore. You know what I mean? That used to get to my space, but man, my daughter like this, and I gotta understand that she's okay and she's me and she's knowledgeable. She knows how to wiggle her energy around them. You know what I mean? But as like a melanated being out here in society, and we already know what the history is showing, what they're showing, you know, as far as where they start from. It hasn't been human history evolution. But as far as what carried the belief systems and ideology where we at today, we all know what time it is. You know what I mean? And just because you love your culture don't mean that you hate the rest of the cultures. That's what I don't be getting. And that's the same way I feel about the religions. Just because you love your religion don't mean that you hate the rest of the religions. It's like if we all vibing on the same frequency, we should all be doing this. We could all pull up one big ass table out here and we can all sit together and still vibe. You know what I mean? But the way the process is set up, if they can embed themselves in here and in here, it don't matter if it's on a good energy vibration or bad or negative energy vibration. That's still that entity taking up space in here. And that's part of their goal if they aren't destroying you, because as long as they can keep access to you, then they always can figure out a way to come back and start trying to work on you again. Destroy, steal, and kill. And they use hella manipulation and lies. So when you out here dealing with some of these beings and these people, just be mindful. And be wary of these people who are doing this new age dialogue, where now I'm starting to see more like things talking about, oh, people who got avoidant, you know, relationship styles and all this other stuff. And it's like, you're not going to keep teaching me different words how to manage myself around these demons. Like, my team don't operate like that. So you bring that shit over here, I'm gonna punch you in the face. You know what I mean? Don't talk to me about some, yeah, they're avoiding. You know what avoiding is connected to? Fear. My team don't vibe like that. So you ain't vibing with me. It's that simple. You don't have to make it complicated. All these different things. Anything that has a large amount of fear connected to it, it's not coming from the creator. It's not coming from the creator, the source, God, Allah, whatever name you put on it. That's too much fear. It's way too much fear. That's not the ingredients over here. That ingredient is acknowledged, you know, and you may catch 2%, 1% on some of the stuff you're doing, but if you got fear-based ideologies leading you, you already know where that's coming from. Oh yeah, my last person, they wasn't avoidant. No, they was a demon. Simple process. You talking about avoidant? Ask them that avoidant. How connected is that avoidant with source or the creator? How often does that avoidant talk about the creator or source? I don't fall for none of that weird witchery. Like, you gotta work a little bit harder over here, because when you keep things simplified and you follow a natural law and you can connect it with source, love, empathy, joy, you can name all these things that's fulfilling, that fills you up, that make you feel good, that make you want to do more, be more. That ain't it over here. That ain't it over here. You got shame, guilt, insecurities, manipulation, lies. Manipulation can be used for good or bad, It's just the way it's always presented is in a bad form. Because we all out here done got some witchy motherfuckers to do something positive or productive that they didn't want to do. And you always knew they didn't want to do it by the energy you received afterwards. It's always that way. Because the creator still has access to those weak vessels. It's just the creator just chooses not to go or put any of his warriors or helpers over there in those vessels. Yeah, it's like just jumping in a pile of mud with the pigs and stuff and wrestling around. Nah. Keep your inner space organized, Try to keep it neat, even if it's like an organized mess, because I know some of us are organized messes, meaning that we not OCD about having each paper stack on top of each other really perfect, Just long as you got all your papers in this section. You don't need to have all your pens in like one of those little round cylinder containers, Sometimes you just need like a box, just throw them in there, but at least it's all organized. It's an organized mess, You still know where everything is at. You can still find it. Just be mindful of these things and don't let them invade and take over your inner space. Your inner space. How you gonna know if they're taking over your inner space is by they're gonna constantly be in here and in here. They constantly be thinking thoughts and ideas, either future with them, past with them, or present, meaning you want to reach out to them, you want to talk to them, you really want to see what's going on with them. You know what I mean? Just be mindful of these things, But I ain't want to run it up too long. Tapping everything down below. Peace and love to the kings and queens.